Well, hello, friends and fellow adventurers. Welcome or welcome back. This is my attempt at getting my sheesh manish together, okay? The most popular video on my channel was when I did this 1 hour strategic walkthrough. And when I mean strategic, I mean literally just mind dumping all of my ideas and trying to organize them in real time to kind of just show you how I juggle a lot of different things going on at once. And so I thought, you know what? Let's do another one of those because I am currently struggling. So I am doing this, it's personal, it's with me and a friend, really with me and my coach. It's this 30-day challenge for social media. Basically, the goal is to get over that hesitation of posting. And so we're going for quantity a little bit more over quality. It doesn't mean that you don't go for quality still, but it's more of a, hey, try to get as much out there as possible. Stop hoarding ideas. Like, let's try to reset and go instead of always thinking and overthinking before posting, holding things back, all that good stuff. So I'm on this 30-day challenge. It's officially day 16 and I am not doing great. Technically, I'm still hanging in there, but we kind of jumped into this without a hardcore plan, and that was part of the plan of we don't want to overthink. We just want to try to get in, just do, you come up with an idea, go for it. So I'm at day 16 and I feel a little bit behind. I haven't really clarified my direction from A to B. I created a really cool digital product and my goal was to kind of try to get that out there more. And I haven't really talked a lot about it because I realize I'm not really struggling with perfection. I'm struggling with confidence. So I just kind of needed a radical reset where I'm just okay, let's just sit back down. I have all my ideas already kind of brainstormed in different places. Let's see if we can just kind of bring it together, organize it somewhat. You know me, I'm very flexible. So I like things to have a basic structure, knowing that I'm going to have flexibility within that. So yeah, that is what today is all about. Don't know what's happening with my camera, and so I'm using the basic FaceTime camera in my laptop. Not the best quality, so bear with me. And let's just go ahead and dive in, okay? Here we go. All right. So my goal for this was to get more video content out. One, because I really enjoy video content, and secondly, because I do well with written messages, but I feel because I'm so verbose and I'm still training myself to speak clearly in 10 words or less, or try to communicate my point, point A to point B. That is my struggle right now. Is I know what I want to offer to help people, but when I explain it, it ends up feeling very verbose, kind of confusing, and so I don't think I'm really pulling in the audience that I'm searching for because I'm not really calling to them clearly. And part of that is my confidence issue, just struggling with being confident in what I feel like I know and what I feel like I can bring value and how I can help. So I wanted to start with video because I am a verbal processor. I do pretty well with video. People say they really like my voice. They like listening to me. So I started with overarching YouTube ideas to get my YouTube back up and running, and then basically repurposing all of that, whatever is in the video, repurposing that over and over again into different pieces of content. So kind of thinking of my YouTube, that script becomes deeper dives into Substack posts, and then also kind of these shorter carousel posts. And then obviously you can split that YouTube video into reels, and then I'm filtering that down into even really punchy hooks that can be used for reels, carousels, notes and threads. So the idea is to kind of have this overarching main theme that I'm talking about through this whole challenge, and then having, each week have 1 or 2 YouTube videos. I've only been able to get 1 out a week. We'll see. I have 4 more ideas I would like to get to within the last 15 days of this challenge. We'll see what happens. And then kind of you take those and you filter those down into smaller, even more bite-sized pieces. So people can kind of, take bite-sized pieces, and then when they want to go a little bit deeper, then I have either the Substack route, or I have the Reels route, or I have the YouTube route. But the idea behind all of it is, here's my core idea that I'm trying to talk about throughout the whole month, and then here are kind of like some basic micro topics that fit underneath that umbrella that are going to make kind of these pillars of YouTube videos, and then those are going to filter down into a lot of small different other content type things. So that was the goal. Have I done that well? No. My first 2 videos I'm proud of, but they're not super clear. So the goal in the next 3 videos, because this is going to count as one, is to really get clear so that I'm offering some very obvious mindset shifts, like, hey, this is the mindset shift that we need to make, and then here's the solution, and this is how I've experienced that in my life, and this is how you can too. If you'd like, a challenge, here is this Do Less side quest. That's what it's called. That's my digital product, which I'll talk to you a little bit about during this too. That's the goal. That's the idea. That's what we're working on today. So for myself, if you are, hold on. If you are a TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan from like the originals, right? Early 90s. Master Shredder is one of the villains. But anyways, I'm calling this like my Master Shredder challenge, because it's just like, let's just get as much out there as possible to overcome the overthinking. Sometimes doing more reps helps you overcome the overthinking, because you're probably not going to be happy with everything, but if you can get those reps in of pressing post, that does help kind of override that overthinking. So with that said, I have everything kind of written down, what I did last time, and people seem to like it, and personally I like it. Sometimes I'm a pen and paper girly for the most part. Sometimes I do like using Notion, but honestly, I have not been able to figure out Notion. Have not been able to figure it out. I end up coming away frustrated and it ends up not being a tool for me. So honestly, a plain old piece of paper, and then kind of repurposing that into a Google Doc works well for me. Do whatever works well for you. So we're going to start with YouTube. And let me see if you can see that. Yeah, good. So I'm going to start with the 4 big ideas. How do I want to do this? These are going to be videos. So this first one, I'm going to go ahead and put it on there. That way I can automatically just check it off. I'm just calling this a radical reset. I need to have this is a working title. I need a better title so that hopefully more people will watch it, because my views are terrible, but I've also not been consistent, so that's on me. And I don't think I'm like overly entertaining, or like I'm not really hooking people in the first few minutes. So, and if you're this far, then you can tell me. I'm not great at that yet. Okay, the next one that I have is the myth of catching up. And then, oh yeah, I really like this one. Why your progress feels invisible, and how to spot the wins you're missing. And then last one is the ugly truth about why you can't make yourself do more. So these are kind of like the 4 videos that I'm using as my pillar content for this challenge. We're doing this, and then, let's actually go back for a second. Let's go back. Right. you haven't been here, I do talk in accents. I'm not good at it, but I do it anyway. So the overarching thread topic that I'm talking about in these 30 days is radical acceptance. And the idea behind radical acceptance that I'm talking about is specifically, okay, this is your life. You may or may not like it. You might hate your life, but you can still build while you're bleeding. You can still move forward even when the wound hurts. Like, we need to stop waiting for our lives to be perfect. We need to stop waiting for our big breaks to start actually moving forward. And radically accepting, like, hey, let's not toxic positivity our way out of things, right? Let's not pretend it's better than it really is. Let's be really, really honest. Let's get honest about where we're at with our capacity, with our pace, with our resources, with our disappointment, with our grief. Like, let's be really honest instead of pretend, oh, it's not that bad. Like, it's fine. Haha. Like, let's be really, really honest, because I think once you're honest, then you can start moving forward. You don't need to have everything put together in order to move forward. You can start moving forward when it's messy. You can start ugly. You know, most of us are going to exist for a lot of our lives within the messy middle, that liminal space between where we were and where we're going. And so because we're going to spend so much time there, we can't spend all of our time. That's a lot of time to be spending constantly hoping it gets better, or trying to shrink ourselves into a version that's already, like, it's gone, right? That version of our life is maybe dead, and there's parts of our lives that we just need to accept, like, you know what, that version of myself, she's gone. And then there are maybe some versions of ourselves that we thought were dead that we need to revive, right? And that's what this messy middle is all about. But we cannot heal what we will not name. And that is what I am all about, talking about radical acceptance, right? So that's the overarching thread of the topic. That moves down into our YouTube videos. Like I said, the myth of catching up. So this is going to be talking all about that idea of just like desperation. Oh my gosh, I need to like be somewhere at a certain time and I'm behind. And we look at social media and there's all these, comparison people that we compare ourselves to. And it becomes very easy to get stuck in that rat race of like, I've got to be catching up, right? The next one is why your progress feels invisible and how to spot wins you're missing. Sometimes we think we're making no progress, and it's because we're not willing to really look at our life and celebrate all of the small wins. We're waiting for all of the big breaks to celebrate, to recognize our progress, right? So that's what that video is going to be about. And then the ugly truth about why you can't make yourself do more. This is very much, all of these are connected to my Do Less side quest. This one's very much connected to my Do Less side quest in the way that a lot of times we're trying to do more, right? We're trying to be more productive, all these life hacks, productivity hacks, but we forget like who we are in the process. And the more and more we abandon ourselves, our identity, our calling, our purpose, whatever, fill in the blank, the more we move away from the truth about who we really are, the harder it is to actually move forward. So that's kind of what that one's about. So I have that, and now we will move to the rest of the segment, which is not planned. So here we go. Next, I'm basically taking those scripts, which I have not read or written at this point, and I'm turning them into articles. I think if I can do 3 to 4 more articles in the next 15 days, I think that's doable. Might not be doable. I'm going to shoot for sure for 2, but let's try to come up with 4 ideas. Let me pull up. I've got another thing here. Where are you? Okay. On a different sheet, I have like hooks that I've written. I don't know if hook is the right term. I mean, it's a hook, but I think it can also be a cool articles for Substack. So let me see. Oh, yeah. I really liked this one. What your perfectionism is costing you. Basically talking about Your perfectionism is costing you more than your mistakes are. Yeah, that's a gut punch, right? I wanted to do one that's kind of like, so you're behind. Basically talking about like, what do you do when you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm really far behind? And obviously these kind of flow, like, so you're behind, goes with like the myth of catching up, right? So I can use some content from that script and rewrite that in a more narrative form, storytelling form. What your perfectionism is costing you. That one kind of goes with why your progress feels invisible. And then let's do 2 more. I have a long list here. Oh, yeah. Okay. Failure isn't a bad word. Just kind of reframing failure, and I think that one kind of goes with, I know we've already kind of talked about this. This could go with kind of either one of these, but, you know. And then... Oh, yeah. Okay. Stop ignoring the wins you can't post about. Which goes with that bottom one, the ugly truth about why you can't make yourself... No, sorry. That one also kind of goes with your progress feels invisible. Anyways, the good news is all of these kind of fall under radical acceptance. So all of these are going to be filtered from the scripts on the YouTube videos. So they might change a little bit, but this is kind of what I would like to write about. So, you know, all of these can sort of easily filter into different Substack articles. Obviously, once I finish writing the scripts for these, or like the outline, the thing that's hard about YouTube for me is I know that when I script, I stay on topic a little bit better. The problem is when I script, I tend to lose a little bit of my and my videos that are scripted actually don't do as well as the ones that are kind of just like off the cuff. So it's always hard. I tend to outline, have a couple of lines here and there where I know I want to hit, but I'm not scripting because I haven't figured out how to script well enough to sound like myself while I'm doing the tubes of you. But the idea is once I actually finish these and outlining these titles and articles might shift a little bit in topic. But again, the overarching thread that I am weaving through this whole month, and I'll honestly continue on after the 30 days, but is this idea of radical acceptance, teaching people to that you can make progress and you don't have to wait till your life is like perfect to see success and to whatever success looks like for you and moving forward and all that stuff. So these are going to be the Substack articles, because I already have a lot of my notes and threads like typed up, and I'm not going to share a bunch of those because it's just like this long like list of just I kind of vomited out type of thing. So let's do what do I want to do next? Let's start on let's do some Instagram reel ideas. I have a bunch of ideas on these, but these kind of come from my, like I said, these kind of hooks that I've had. Hold on, let me pull this up. La 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 la. Okay. A lot of my reels I'm going to take my YouTube videos and then splice those up. So try to pull like 5 reels per video. So I don't necessarily need to have more reels. However, like I said, one of the things I'm struggling with is really feeling confident and really feeling like I'm coming from a place of authority. And again, the online coaching / guru space can be very cringe. I think influencer culture and coaching culture has very much, it has brought about quite a bit of mistrust, and rightfully so. So I want to get to a place where I'm speaking with more authority and confidence. Like, yes, I'm not telling you this because I'm trying to, dupe you into something. Yes, I do have a digital product, but I also have experience that I'm like, hey, I've done this. If you're a multi-passionate, if you're somebody who's struggling with this, if you've gone through something hard and you feel like you want to give up, if you're somebody who struggles with depression and anxiety, this is how I've reframed my life so that I can find contentment and joy and progress, even in the middle of me really kind of sucking at everything that I do. After tons of failure, after really not making any progress whatsoever, okay? I struggle with saying that with my full chest, right? I tend to be like, well, like if you like. So my first couple of YouTube videos that I've done, I like, but they don't come from that very confident, standing 10 toes deep type of deal. So I'm still going to pull some reels from there, but I'm hoping that these next 3 that I do a little bit better of moving from point A to point B, where I'm like offering like more of a storytelling and then offering an actual solution. Like, here's the mindset shift. This is how I did it. This is how you're going to do this. If you need some extra help and you want to dive deeper, here's this do less side quest. Getting my call to action in there. I'm practicing that. I'm hoping to nail that in the next 3 videos so that I can easily just splice those into reels. But I also have some other reels I would like to try out as a way to just practice more of this presence of like speaking with authority, not as somebody who knows everything, but as somebody who says, hey, I've experienced this. This has helped me. Maybe it could help you if you find yourself in similar scenarios as I do. So I think one of the kind of reels that I would like to do is I like gamifying everything. So one of the kind of series, if you will, that I want to do is like these cheat codes. And maybe I'll just work on those because those would be really good for training me to speak with my full chest instead of like, well, I'm really good at being like the spiritual auntie or the sister or the friend who will listen and talk and kind of, chat and, and people feel very comfortable around me. They feel like I listen. They feel like I get it and I can commiserate. And I think that that's good. But the part of myself I want to develop more is that more kind of keep teaching, guide, coach, for lack of a better term. I hate the word coach now because it's kind of become a bad word, but the idea of what coaches do, I would like to step more into that role of being confident and authoritative in my tone. Authoritative in a weird, you get what I mean. So anyways, maybe doing some of these cheat code reels would be a good way to practice that confidence for me. So here are some of the ideas I had for like the cheat code ones. And these are going to be heavily more focused on actually teaching something where I'm actually, where it's not like, here's a story that I want to tell you. I'm pretty good at the storytelling, but I'm really bad at the landing the plane. So these are going to teach me how to be like, hey, this is how you're going to feel better by the end of this video. You've seen those. So here are some of the ideas that I've had for cheat codes. This one was no more rage quitting everything. I'm playing with this and also life. The only reason why I've struggled with saying rage quitting, oh, that was my phone. No more rage quitting life is because as somebody who has struggled with ideation, I know what I mean when I say rage quitting life. I mean like just disassociating from your life and no longer participating, becoming an NPC in your own life. But I also want to be careful about that wording. I don't want it to come across as like, So that's why I've said like no more rage quitting. Everything. But basically the idea is on this one is talking about how you're going to become the main character player in your life again, or like logging back into your life. Cheat code. I don't know why I said codes. It's just one. Well, I have many, but I'm gonna do one at a time. So cheat code, trade speed for staying power. And basically this one is, if I remember correctly, let me look at my notes. Do you want to, the idea behind this one was like, do you want to finish fast or finish whole? You know, do you want to get to the finish line fast? I mean, I think we all want to like be millionaires by the time we're 30. I'm 35. That didn't happen. I'm not even close to that. I have a savings account finally, and there's not much in it, but we're making progress. So do we really want to get there fast, or do we want to get there in one piece? That kind of thing. The other one I had was, metrics that actually matter. I have my phone on Do Not Disturb, and yet it is going off. So hold on. Ouch. Oh. How are you still going off? Rude. I'm just gonna literally set it over here so it's not as loud. Anyways, okay, metrics that actually matter. So setting goals that won't make you throw up. Obviously working titles, everyone. Working titles. Cheat code. Work with your natural energy, not against it. This is something I talk about a lot too. I have a really great YouTube video that actually did halfway decent, and by halfway decent, it got more than 5 views, like all my others. But I have this other YouTube video called, I'll try to remember to link it here. It's called Night Owls Rejoice, and your productivity or your creativity doesn't need a 5 a.m. wake up time. I'm a morning person, very, very early morning person. I do well in the morning, so I try to work in the mornings because that's what works for me. But a lot of people are not, and I think a lot of people try to like fit into this particular aesthetic, right? That we see all these influencers online getting up super early, or all of these gym bros or finance bros, or like, these influencer, girlies who are getting up early and having this really intense routine and all this stuff. If that's for you, awesome. But there are a lot of people that do not function that way, and so we're kind of working against our natural energy. Anyways, you should check out that video. I was actually pretty proud of that video. People seem to like that video, but I want to talk more about that, and specifically in this reel. The goal in these reels is I want to learn how to be able to very clearly state a potential for shift. Like, I'm offering a solution. Here's how to get to that solution. And then your call to action. I'm trying to be able to do that in 3 minutes or less. Have not succeeded thus far, but we're going to keep trying. You know what? Let's stick with those 4. I think I would like to do more, but if I can get more reels out of those other YouTube videos, then that will be good enough. Okay. Let's do, oops, that's not what I wanted. Instagram carousels. I love carousels. I really love them. I can make them really quickly. The problem is I've really been struggling with creating some. Let me Here, I'll show you what I've been working on. Okay, so like, for example, I've been working on this one. This is a new, what's the word I'm looking for? Hold on. So this is a new template that I was trying out. The thing that's great about Canva is Canva does have some great templates that I will start as the base and then literally just alter along the way, because right now I can create things from scratch, and I have before. Like, is this one done? Oh no, that one's not done. Hold on. I do like so many different things on here. So, okay, here we go. Nope. Yeah, I'll do that one. So like this one I made from scratch. And this one was talking about creative grief. And the creative grief you may still be carrying. So I called it like, because that was when it was like where my lore started. So I was like, where your lore started, where your creative grief. So like I've made these from scratch before. I really like these templates. I do. The problem is I get bored. I honestly get bored, and I want to try something new. So yesterday I started working on this one, which is, remember we were talking about perfectionism is costing you more than your mistakes. This is from the template. I like this template. I like it, but the other thing is this is really nice, and I created it from scratch, but I'm getting bored of this. So that is the current dilemma. So then I've kind of struggled with where to go next. So I don't know. And the other part is too, I am somebody, I'll just show you my Instagram real quick. I get really bored with my Instagram really quickly. Like I get bored with the layout, and I know it shouldn't matter that much, but I get bored. And I haven't been posting a lot consistently. That's why I'm working on this challenge, because other than my weekly transparency reports, I really have not kept up. I really did like that post, but did these 3 reels last week. They didn't do great, but they didn't do terrible, I suppose. But like, I get bored with my aesthetic. I just get bored, and I want something cohesive. And I'm just wondering if I should just give up on having something cohesive. I will show you some of the people that I really like. Like hers are really nice. Here, let me make this bigger for you guys. Like, it's just very cohesive. And look, if you look around and you see me, you know that I am not somebody who is obsessed with everything being aesthetically pleasing. I kind of have the maximalist chaos vibe going on, but that's just how it goes. You can see my past searches. This is one of my favorite online coaches. She's really great, but like her online, it's just put together, and it's like cohesive, and you can tell she's doing like similar things, and mine doesn't look like that. I also feel like I'm struggling to be clear on my message and who I'm helping. And even though I have all of this written down, I have my elevator speech and all this stuff, I'm not confident in saying it, and I'm not confident in creating content around that. So then everything kind of just ends up being a hodgepodge, which, like, my faithful readers and commenters are the best. They keep me going, but I would like to I think I could help more people. I think that I could reach a larger audience. I would like to, at some point in my life, make a little bit more money. I would like to be able to afford insurance one day. So that's my dilemma when it comes to my carousels, is I love them, but I'm currently unhappy with my branding, whatever. Because like at this point, it shouldn't matter that much, because I need to work on my message being clear. I need to work on practicing confidence, practicing speaking with my full chest, but I also want it to look pretty. It's so rough. And I've changed my profile, like my bio multiple times and I feel like I'm getting closer, but I'm still not happy. So right now I know this is a total side note, but right now I just have like an anti-hustle guide for the chronically stuck, which I feel like does communicate pretty well what I do. I'm very much anti-hustle culture, very much like anti, productivity hacks and all these different things. Like my idea for a productivity hack is to delete half of your to-do list. Ta-da, you did more. That's my approach. But at the same time, I don't know if that's clear enough, all that good stuff. And then I changed this recently because I wanted to talk more about radical acceptance. So you can see, like, for those with a PhD in disappointment, I feel like that communicates very well. The people I generally call my way, the audience that usually finds me, are people who are like, I got a master's in failure, I got a PhD in disappointment, I got 3 master's degrees in character development. If you're there, if you've been there, you understand. And then just talking about resurrecting dead dreams, right? I talk a lot about side quests because I'm a gamer and Skyrim's my favorite game, so I gamify a lot of stuff. I have things like side quests of the week, as you know, do less side quests, which I've talked about, and then radical acceptance meets creative rebellion. So as we continue to create in the midst of difficult times, that is rebellious. That is the point, right? Showing up even when we don't want to, because the world is so dark, us showing up anyway is what's going to bring more light and hope into a very dark world. So that's a whole tangent on why I'm struggling with my reels. Don't know if you care about any of that, or my carousels, sorry. But I would like to do some carousels, and I feel like I should, and maybe you can tell me in the chat if anybody watches this at all. You can tell me, what do you think? Should I stick with what I got? Because I do like what I have. I'm just bored. I'm honestly just bored. There's nothing deeper to it than that. And I'm not getting enough engagement or movement to really tell what is resonating with people. You know what I mean? Like, they always say, like, well, what's resonating with your people? I was like, I don't know. Nobody's seeing my stuff. Nobody's engaging. So I have no idea. My threads, let me see. Like if I go to my threads, I'm like, oh, look at all of these posts with absolutely no likes. Oh, there's some. There's a few there and there. So it's hard to know, like, whoa, what are people engaging with? Nothing. The truth is absolutely nothing. Let me see. Oops, not home. Dashboard? Is that where I want to go? No, I didn't care. Here we go. And then you'll see this as well. Like, I've posted, but I don't get anything. So I don't know. Is this the point when I implode and just rebrand for the 17th time, this year, or stick with what I know? My gut says stick with what I know, but the internal creative in me wants new, exciting change. Because I'm gaslighting myself and thinking, oh, if I just change my colors, all of a sudden, everything will be better. Which is its own set of, that could be its own article. Working on the aesthetics as a way to ignore what you actually got to do. Okay, fine. We're back. Carousels. Instagram carousels. Let's look at some of my other... There's some ASMR for you, I guess. Let us look at some of my other kind of like hooks, because I came up with some like different hooks that fall under radical acceptance and fall under the do less side quests, like what I'm talking about there. So let's look if there are some carousel posts that I can create from what we've got here as well. So we've got the myth of catching up. I mean, really, the myth of catching up and so you're behind we could create one that says you're not behind, and a carousel post about that. And this can be basically like myth, myth busting. There is no finish line. Kind of talking about the more you hustle, the more you try to like productivity hack your way out of things and hustle your way out of heartbreak and toxic positivity your way out of what's actually happening, that like the goalpost always moves, especially when we're talking about comparison, all that stuff. So that could be a good one. Let's look. What can we kind of filter down? And as a multi-passionate, I don't really niche very much, but I think that the benefit of niching is like in your smaller pieces of content, you can be ultra niche in that particular content. And then in the scope of everything, like all the things that you're interested in kind of act as like a seasoning to your approach, right? So what can we kind of like ultra niche in? So why your progress feels invisible and how to spot the wins you're missing. So maybe let's ultra niche on something like let's pick a specific metric that, so instead of talking about, you know what I mean? Like instead of talking about, let's talk about all the wins that you're missing. Let's talk about one win that you're missing that could be good. Cause then I can create a series of like 10 different things where it's like, this is why this is a metric you should consider. So let's just look. Metric. Oh. Metric you're missing. What's a good metric? What's a good metric that I talk to people about? Now I can't think of anything. This is how it goes. Actually, I have to go to the bathroom, so I'm going to take a pause. I'll be right back. I'll just cut this out so you won't see that I left. All right. I'm back. We're at 45 minutes. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the metric you're missing. What's a metric that I often talk about that we kind of ignore? Because a lot of the metrics out there are very numerical. So non-numerical. I actually did a post about this. Let's just go back. Maybe I can recycle, because I know I did. Here we go. Non-number metrics to start using today, so you won't give up tomorrow. Hey, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Are you having fun? Are you learning? Are you being consistent? Have people thanked you? Have your skills improved? Are you practicing self-compassion? Do you experiment? Have you tailored your creative process? Are you proud of you? Hey, that was actually a really good post. Maybe I should bring that one back. See if anybody... I had okay engagement. Okay. Now I might have to go back to some of my old posts. So let's pick one of those that I could kind of deep dive in. One or two of those. Have you tailored your creative process? Do you experiment? You know what? I like that one. Let's talk about that one. Metric you're not afraid of experimenting. That's a good one. Oh, guys, why didn't you tell me I spelled that wrong? You probably did. You're missing. Let's do one more. Let's do one more of those. And again, I'm just trying to prepare, like I'm trying to have a lot of different content that I can potentially create. So I might end up doing some extra, I might not, but like when I get to the point where I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know what I'm doing, I'll have a list of stuff to go that I can like literally check a box off. Self-compassion. I think people struggle with knowing if their skills have improved. Because even for me, like, I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, I've gotten better. But then I like make a reel and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm the worst that there ever was. Why does anybody watch me? Have people thank you? That's a good one. You know what? That's a good one. Metric you're missing. Outward third party gratitude. I don't know. These, again, working titles, my friend. Working titles. Third party gratitude. I don't know how to call that. I'll just say have people thanked you. I think that's a really huge metric, because the other day I was actually really struggling. I was like, why am I doing this? What's the point? And somebody texted me and said, wow, your reel today really, and that reel did terrible. Like, none of my stuff is doing well. I think that's a lot of people, but like mine especially just feels like I'm doing terrible because I am not being clear enough. She said, wow, this reel made me cry today. What you do matters. And I was like, oh, okay, that was a metric I needed. So let's talk about that. What are some other carousel posts? Let's come up with two more. I would like to have more than that, but I also have some other things that I can filter in there just for like regular check-ins. So let's look at some of the other stuff that I've created that I kind of like. Popular apps that didn't work for me. That one did okay. Oh yeah, this was good. Ooh. I wasn't supposed to be here again. Going back to the 9 to 5 with a failed dream. Oh. Guys, this was a good post. What happened to me? Where did she go? I know where she went. She disappeared for a while. She struggled. Life slapped her. I felt like another failure. What did I... This one was very narrative driven. What did I say here? Oh, there were 3 really hard questions I had to navigate in order to resurrect that dream. Isn't it funny that I forget what I create? Is this dream still mine? What is my new capacity and what can I do today? Huh. That's a good post. Maybe I just recycle this post. Let's just consider different ways. People seem to really like that kind of content when I talk about it, because I talk about it very in a way of radical acceptance of this is honest, this hurts, this sucks, this was sad and depressing, and I felt like a huge failure. Let's talk about that one again, because that one resonated. People really liked that. We'll figure out a way to maybe, I don't want to say rebrand, but do it in a less narrative way, or I don't know. That was one of my better posts, so maybe I literally just repost it. Maybe I stop overthinking and just repost it. That one was okay. For those grieving the life they thought they had. Oh, love notes. I haven't done some of those. I kind of wanted to do a few posts, some carousel posts of like my, we'll do a threads roundup, because I really like those when people do them. I just need to figure out how to do it. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. That's not my puppy. It's my friend's puppy, but he's so cute. His name is Draco. He's so cute. Yeah, that was my Michigan trip earlier this year. Before my life fell apart. Bum, bum, bum. The Myth of the Muse. I do like talking about that, but it doesn't seem to land super well with people. I don't know why. Whenever I use that wording, like the Myth of the Muse, like they just kind of, like, it doesn't go as far. I don't know why. All right, people, I think, and then this is where I like just kind of fell off the wagon quite a bit, if you can tell. I do my weekly transparency reports, or I try to. Sometimes it's like every other week. So we'll do weekly transparency report. I need to give a self publishing update. Let's just do like something lighthearted, like a meme dump. That would be fun. Cool. That gives me some ideas for some carousels that I can do. Yes, there we go. And then I already have my Substack notes and my threads already written. So I think this is where we're going to end for today. This is kind of my approach. This is how I sort of organize, like, okay, I'm working on different platforms, and then I also have multiple projects going on. This one is more about, I'm working on this particular 30-day challenge, and I fell off the wagon, and so I'm trying to, like, let's really rein it in for the last 15 days, and see what we can do in the last 15 days. So, like, let's get a thread of an idea and keep everything moving in that direction. And here's the umbrella. Here are all of the things that can fall underneath that point back to that umbrella. I think that will help me, because right now I feel very scattered. I feel very, like, just in general kind of discouraged and disillusioned. I want to be making money online. I want to be having more engagement online. Like, yes, I would like to be making money, but on the other hand, like, I also just want to build an audience that's, like, feels very warm and cozy and, like, coming home and, like, hanging out. I see a lot of spaces like that with some of my favorite creators, and I want to create that. I'm not good at it yet. I am not good at it yet. So we did some work today. Overarching thread topic, radical acceptance. We have 4 YouTube videos. This one, which, you know what, I might just do this just for us. I recorded that one. It's not posted yet. I still have to edit it out, the part like where I went to the bathroom and everything. So we have 3 YouTube videos that we need to finish. The myth of catching up, why your progress feels invisible and how to spot the wins you're missing, the ugly truth about why you can't make yourself do more. Those scripts will eventually filter in to Substack articles, and I'm kind of predicting that these are some of the Substack articles that I can create more punchy, narrative-driven articles. You know, what is your perfectionism actually costing you? So you're behind. So what? Like, what do we do about that? Failure isn't a bad word. And then stop ignoring the wins that you can't post about. We kind of talked about that in some of the reels or carousels. For the reels, again, we're going to splice my YouTube videos and use those as reels, because we're just going to recycle. We're going to work smarter, not harder. Right? Is that the right? Yeah. Okay. But if we have some extra capacity, which I don't have much of these days, but let's say that I get a little boost of energy. We're going to try to record these 4 cheat code reels that are focusing on me practicing saying something in 3 minutes or less very clearly, that gives that addresses a problem that my audience may be struggling with, presents a solution from my unique perspective with a call to action to dive deeper into the Do Less side quest if that's something they want to dive deeper into. And then Instagram carousels, which I would like to, just because they're fun and I like them and they do really well, as far as people seem to really like those. So again, this is filtering from my videos. You're not behind. So myth busting, basically, there is no finish line. That finish line keeps moving. I mean, essentially the finish line is when you die, but we're talking about like the finish line in performative, like working toward things, life, success, right? There really isn't a finish line until you die, because we're gonna keep just working until the Lord comes back, you know? So unless the Lord comes back and cuts that timeline short, like death is the finish line. But until then, there is no finish line. That's a bar. Metrics you might be missing. So not afraid of experimenting, third-party gratitude. So just diving deeper into those. Working titles will get better at that. I wasn't supposed to be here again, going back to 9 to 5 with the failed dream. That was a really good post. People liked it. I liked it. See if we can't rebrand in a way that has maybe some more solution based. Again, because we're trying to step up into that. Hey, I can help you. Here are some solutions that I have discovered for myself. Not just, I do a lot of mindset talk, and I think that that's good. But I would like to balance out with some like, here are some steps for you if you need some help. Threads roundup, which I talked about, but I'll just show you really quick what I mean in case you care at all. Glow always does these, so she takes some of her best threads and puts them like as a carousel, which I'm like, that's brilliant because you already did the work. I don't know how to make this little thing. It's so cute. I don't know how to they look like little stickers. I don't know how she does that. We'll have to figure that out later, I suppose. My weekly transparency reports, which people love. Those are easy to make. Self-publishing update. That'll be a depressing one, but it is what it is. And then a meme dump because we got to have some fun sometimes too. Okay, I think we did some good work. And then I already have all my Substack notes and my threads. Basically, I'm cross-posting on both of them because I'm not overthinking this at this point. I know Substack notes and threads are very different. Right now, I'm just cross-posting to both of them and seeing if anything lands because they're not landing on either platform. So right now, I'm just kind of like shotgunning it, seeing what happens. All right. I almost forgot. So I do want to show you the Do Less side quest because this is something that I created and I'm really, really excited about. As you can tell, I am not the most organized person. I don't have a really nice Notion dashboard. I'm not super organized. I am a pen and paper girly that kind of types things back into Google Docs. That works for me. I'm a verbal processor. I feel like sometimes I talk too much. I could be more concise, but it is what it is. You can see my process here. This is helpful for me. I'm creating just a basic structure that I can kind of follow over the next 15 days of oh, yep. And this is filtering down. So I'm looking at this as a hierarchy, starting with the YouTube and then kind of processing my way down. But you can see that I am not the most organized person. And yet I'm able to come up with just a basic way forward, that works for me. And this works for me. If you want to borrow this, you want to steal this, go for it. You absolutely go for it. You can do this. Sometimes I do this week to week. Right now, I haven't done that in a while, but I'm going through a really difficult time in my life right now. Very, very difficult. April of this year, my life kind of imploded. Okay. So I was making all this progress. I had all of these ideas. I was on fire. I was doing my YouTube, my Instagram. I was all on it. And I just literally basically stopped for 5 to 6 months, which is why I wanted to do this challenge to just kind of kickstart something in me again. And I probably won't work at this pace regularly, right? I'm not going to be able to work at this pace forever, but a 30-day kind of kick in the butt challenge will do well for me. But I can make progress. I can make progress even right now when my life feels like it's caving in and overwhelming. So I did this because I wanted you to see my process of I am not the perfect aesthetically pleasing influencer that has everything put together, and I can still come up with a very basic content plan of where I want to go that all starts with here's my big overarching idea. Here are my 3 big videos, long form videos I want to create, and then I'm just going to filter down my ideas from there. Now I know I already did kind of my brainstorming without you, so you didn't see that portion, and that's okay. But I'm hoping this encourages you. I am currently in therapy, working through some anxiety and some depression and some really hard things in my life, and I'm still here. I'm still showing up, and it's imperfect and it's messy. It's not it's not what it's supposed to look like, right? When you see some of those other posts or some of those other creators that have these Also remember that a lot of those creators have whole teams. It's just me and I have a full-time job. Okay. That's most of us. That is most of us. I hope this was encouraging for you to see that you don't have to have it all together to make progress. You don't have to have your whole life aesthetically in this perfect little box. You don't have to have the perfect you know, what's the word I'm looking for? The perfect calendars and schedulers and Notion dashboard. You don't need all of that to make progress. You can make progress with a pen and paper on a regular notebook, or you can open up a Google Doc and just process, okay? I really like to meet people in the messy middle. I really like to help people just to find a deep love for the messy middle. It doesn't mean that we're toxic positivity in it, right? We're not like, oh, this is great, this is my favorite thing. But like, I want you to find the joy in creation. I want to help you revive the joy of creation in the messy middle, and not have to wait until you've hit your break or like broken through a difficult time, a difficult season. Certainly we will celebrate at that point, but like, I want to meet people in their messy middle and show them that like, your life isn't over. You can still have a beautiful, amazing life right here in the middle of the grief, in the middle of the difficulty, in the middle of the confusion. You can do that right now. It might take some mindset work. It might take some actual work. It might take some shifting of things around. I'm gonna have to get honest and radically accept what is actually going on, but your life is not over just because you look around and everything feels dead, okay? We still have things we can resurrect. We still have things that we can build while we're bleeding, while we're broken. And that's why I created the Do Less side quest. Man, that feels like that was a perfect segue, but I didn't plan it. But this is called the Do Less side quest. An adventure to find the real you in the messy middle. This is a 7-day challenge for you to go through. And it, you know, if it takes you longer than 7 days, that's fine. 7 days is just, I wrote it with the purpose of it being done in a week. That way you don't feel like, oh my gosh, this is a 30-day challenge, like I'm feeling about mine. This is a 7-day challenge. You can also take longer if you want. I created this silly little narrative. It is so cheesy. It's so corny. But every day, like, you are the main character in this adventure, and you are following this path, and you wake up on the battlefield, and you don't know where you are, who you are, and you're going to go through this quest to find yourself, right? It's about coming home to yourself. And as you go each day, there's this little narrative with a little challenge that you as the main character are going through. And then each day you're going to unequip a piece of equipment that is no longer serving you, right? As we go through life, we pick up various pieces of armor to try to protect ourselves, and rightfully so, right? That's not necessarily a bad thing. We should have some armor, right? Life can be difficult, but sometimes as we go through and we've gone through a number of battles, we've experience a level of difficulty in our life, some of that armor is no longer serving us, and we need to unequip it. And we need to equip a new set of armor that is now created to protect us, that's lighter. And so the temptation when we are in the messy middle is to do more. There's this desperation to like get out of where we're at. And this whole side quest is all about, we need to do less. You need to stop doing more productivity hacks. You need to stop trying to hustle your way out of the heartbreak. What you actually need to be doing is you need to do less, and you need to become more yourself. So this is a 7-day side quest. It just makes me so happy about coming home to yourself, because the more that you become yourself, I think the more you actually get done, ironically enough. I know for me, when I radically accepted where I was at in my life, where I'm at in my life right now, it's like, oh, now we can start making progress with the tools and with the realistic resources that I have currently, than trying to fake my way out of it. So I really love this. Welcome adventurer. I just tell you a little bit about this. And then like each day, you know, there's a practice that you do before you dive in to really like excavate what we're going to work on. And then like each day Like, I love this. Look how cute it is. Now, adventurer, you are truly ready. You've gazed into the mirror of unbecoming, which I made up. It's cool. Just trust me, it's cool. You've survived your reckoning. Now it's time to trade survival for strength and chart a new path. Shed the cracked armor and forge new pieces for the journey ahead. Stay sharp. Be safe out there. Turn the page to begin the side quest. Oh my gosh! So I know it's corny, it's cheesy, but I love it. And so then, like, you're gonna have your checkpoint, and then that's the narrative that you're gonna go through. And then each day you unequip, and then you equip. Then you have challenge. Blah 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 blah. So yes, if that's something you're interested in, I have that in the description box below. Well, friend and fellow adventurer, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Let me know if you like this sort of video. I haven't done this in a while, but I know the last time I did this, people really enjoyed it. Otherwise, as we discussed today, I will have those other videos coming out in the next couple of weeks. And yeah, let me know if there's anything you'd like to see more of. I stopped vlogging for a while, but I enjoy vlogging. There's a lot of different things that I like to do on this channel that I just haven't done in a while. So if there's anything that you're maybe interested in seeing, please tell me. And I want to end with, if you don't have anybody in your life who will say this to you, or you haven't heard this recently, I want you to know that I am proud of you. And no matter what you're going through, I hope that you know that your life is worth getting back up for. Bye, friend. See you next time.